Good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday. Hope you had a wonderful Memorial Day. This video is we're going to start off with talking about the weather system and the sun. Then we're going to talk about updates, projects, future of certain things, things I've been thinking about for a while. So Tropical Storm Alberto is starting to make its effects known here in Kentucky, in the Bluegrass State. And it's going to continue, of course, rising north. It's a very large system. It was instigated, I remember watching it start down there below the Yucatan, and it was most definitely related to solar effects, and it brought the strange magnetic tunnel that it has with it. I certainly know that Madam Catherine had some real difficulties talking about, she was even talking about magnetic portals, and I was trying to watch, and the solar effects were just too strong, really interrupting the connections. Bear in mind, this is a weak storm overall. It's a large tunnel, but it is overall pretty weak compared to some things. Speaking of strange effects, there's just all sorts of cops going to some kind of major hubbub. So people are probably disarranged right now. They're probably got all sorts of reversed Qi. What is this, the circus up here? Got a bunch of trucks all in a row. Oh, I bet it's associated with the Elizabethan Fair. They're probably hitting the highway. So I wasn't too far off. Anyways, the point being, be careful, watch your backs. Even with the shower this morning, I made sure not to over-soak my head with water. I showered last night to get a jump start because I had a feeling. And I hair dried really strongly to get the water out of my scalp. Because I've been in Berea before, working a full day. You could feel just this constant feeling like you're being hacked. Well, they're not heading to the interstate, they're turning there. Buckhorn. Maybe they're going to the Elizabethan Scene. So, when you have a situation like Qi reversal outside, and it's wanted to induce Qi reversal inside, you could fight it directly. You could, do more Tai Chi, more Qi Gong. What I would do, though, instead, is go internally, and this is what I did like last night just before I went to sleep, and look for roots of Qi rebellion and try and pull them up. And in me, there was a thought form, and it's a little personal. I'm not going to talk about what the thought form was, but I'll tell you that I had to be in the in-between space. So I don't know if you guys know about the in-between space. Probably most of you know about the white space. You probably know about the black space. It's basically like the black space. And so, you're here, the outside of you is here, and there's a buffer region where your consciousness can enter, and it's sort of like a black canvas, but you can feel it has depth. And in there is where you can sometimes find extra energies that have been moving around inside, and you weren't aware of it. Maybe they're creating personality changes. Maybe it's generating thought. You know how your stomach can generate thoughts, especially obviously related to food, but really any kind of gut feelings, fears, that kind of stuff. Similarly, however, this feels much more alive, much more active, more fluid. After I cleared it, it went down and out this trigeminal nerve, and it actually occupied a cylindrical volume about an inch by, let's say, an eighth of an inch. So that whole trunk of that nerve from there to here felt full as it evacuated the area. I assume because I fell asleep pretty fast after that, my ear finished clearing the rest of it. But so the theory would be that energy would be a root, and or a seed, I guess, even, and it would cause these different things to weave into my reality. Maybe a fight with somebody that I normally get along with. Maybe a difficult work environment. Perhaps it would interfere with my nervous system while I'm driving. Whatever. Doesn't matter what it is. It's rebellious or surreptitious is the translation that Thomas Cleary and some others have used. And surreptitious energy basically undermines your internal authority. So you want to deal with that pretty much right away, especially when you have these low pressure zones, right? The tropical storm Alberto represents an earth spot, and that earth spot is sweeping north. And if you're in the path, you could be somewhere else in the world. You might be experiencing something similar. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're and or watching this video at a time remote and you don't know what I'm talking about. But if you can imagine, it's shaped like a hurricane. It basically had all the same vortex properties, and it is counter-rotating and sweeping north, which is okay. The north and east part, totally fine. It's just the pressure zone change. And so that can present kind of a challenge to the body's physical chi, and in particular, of course, the defense chi. Now, if the defense chi, remember the defense chi is not just your immune system. So if your defense chi is struggling to deal with pressure changes to keep you from getting sick, to keep you from getting a sinus attack. In fact, I've got a text right there in this little corner. There's a Facebook Messenger bubble. Somebody has already written me about sinus head cold coming on, and that is directly related to this drop in defense chi. And of course, the drop in defense chi means that any surreptitious energies that have root are going to be able to take more manifestation. So deal with that this morning, early on this week. Here, heading through, so that you can manifest a strong Friday. You might as well figure on 2 or 3 days of unpleasantry. That's the way it goes. Speaking of in 3 days, 2 days, was it 2 days? I guess Thursday, so 3 days, end of Thursday, this is beginning of Tuesday. My boy here is going to be doing his presentation here on YouTube Live. So I hope that people are able, it'll be like 7 p.m. Thursday. I hope people are able to tune in and see his presentation on the that was the previous one. Architecture. His tower is built. We're going to do the strength testing. And it's going to be a fun time. So, speaking of projects, my Dewar finally arrived. Came in a really cute little very professional case. And my wife worked really hard, thanks honey, and found the superconducting ceramic. So this week sometime, I'm going to do that experiment, record that video for you guys. And I've also got an interesting thing I'm doing Friday. I'm taking the kids to the William T. Young Library and going and first of all, I've got to get my UK library card, because once I moved away to California, I never got it again when I came back. I also got to go to the math library the same day, so it's going to be an interesting day with the kids when I have all 4 of them. And so we've got all these neat projects going on. And my wife mentioned yesterday about Teachable. So here's my idea, because I've got too many different things. I've got too many different platforms. I'm going to combine some of the things, take some of the things from YouTube. So, especially regarding the Bhagavad Dharma and Chinese medicine. And I'm also going to combine with the courses I've already made for my school. And I'm going to combine with the electrical universe. And I'm going to create an entire, this is what I'm thinking about doing here, an entire teachable channel for the wu-tao-di Academy, so that you guys can take courses in the topics that I teach on, and that they won't be in so many different places. And also, obviously, so that I can make money without having to ask you guys to become Patreons in the future, because I don't really want to do that. I mean, everybody's doing Patreon. You know, I'm supporting 2 different Patreons, and I would support more, but one of them I'm paying, the school technically is paying $50 a month, so, you know, that's like 10 different Patreons. So it's one of those situations where I just don't really think it'd be worth my time to get you guys to pay for my Patreon, or pay for a Patreon, that is. So I'd rather do this teachable, and then people can just buy the courses. This would include the 5-element diet, the health series, the Shaolin philosophy course, the art of war courses, all of that you know are technically part of the school's classroom setting. The 10-week courses that I designed years and years ago. And also I would make more martial arts videos and designs, not designs, but videos and courses, lectures for Teachable. So let me know what you think about Teachable. You know, is that something that you think people will spend time and money on? Would you spend time and money on those courses? I'm thinking that they'll be somewhere around $59, which is a really good price. Certainly a lot better than I want for, you know, a live sign up. I feel like for me to guarantee 10 weeks of my time, I'd like people to pay $250 a quarter. So $59 is I think a steal. Tell me if you think the price is too low. In general, I have a lot of science projects that are coming up, but I also am trying to build the laboratory. So that will take some time to build it into full. There are a lot of experiments. I've already proposed the 2 experiments I want to do. Plus, Eugene Bagashoff has brought up an experiment that I feel really needs to be replicated, where you're changing the properties of water. The easiest if you just go to the EU Gateway and watch both of those videos. They're embeds from Suspicious Observers. I'm sorry, no, from the Space News. And those experiments could be absolutely vital to proving some of the unique characteristics. There was a user, and I forget his name, but he absolutely brought up what I would think is a correct point, which is that the bonding angle in water is probably what's changing. You know how it's shaped like a Mickey Mouse? You know, so here on Earth, the bonding angle for the water is shaped like a Mickey Mouse, but maybe it's not elsewhere. Or maybe the angle of the hydrogens is somewhat different. And also, then I brought up that probably the actual bonding space and behaviors between the hydrogens, hydrogen bonds, probably also changes due to charge. So these are experiments that really need to be done again, because guess what? That's going to lend credence to the entire, not just structured water, but the idea of water having an ability to carry emotion and feeling. All of that then just becomes about charge. And reducing it to a simplified theory, how amazing would that be to go off and finally, you know, demonstrate some of these unique properties of water. I mean, you and I know that water is very special. It's obviously the foundation, carbon, or the foundation of life on this planet. So it's an experiment that needs to be done. I don't know if anybody else is going to do it, and so that's kind of one of the things I'd like to do. You know, it seems like the people who might do it might be biased in one direction or another, for or against. Me, even if I am biased, I make myself approach it objectively, to where I really seriously want to know, does charge affect the surface tension and other properties of water? I think it does. I think the paper is probably legit. However, it does, as Bagashoff points out, have some problem with the writing. I'm tired. Well, there was one more thing I had for the video, but I think you can wait. I need to think more about it anyhow. So that's about it. I guess we'll be signing off here in Kentucky, heading down to Berea. I hope you have a good day. Deal with that surreptitious energy, and God bless you. And I'll see you another time. Bye.